how have you found being sober? How's that played out? And have you learned any lessons from that? And what's your theory on being, like, what's the thesis now of being sober? How's that been for you?
Best decision of my life.
Yeah.
Dude, I built the brand around Rowdy. It was drinking, life of the party, like I said, you know, drugs and alcohol. And I was a very lost soul and, you know, went through a lot as a kid, and that was escapism. Now, I get value from meeting cool individuals like you, having intellectual conversations, stimulating that brain and solving problems and adding and contributing to society, as opposed to fucking Rowdy going out there, you know, just a fucking liability. It was the best thing I've ever done. And I said to myself, I feel like there was that other part of me, which is like, cool, we're going to do the year and then, you know, we'll just have a drink. And then one of my best mates said, dude, you won't get back.
Yeah.
And then I was like, drinking's fun. I love wine, you know.
It is fun.
It's great. Yeah. I feel like solving problems and contributing to society and being the best version of myself, chasing these Masojis every fucking year. You know, if I do one hard thing every year, I'm going to live to fucking 100 the rate I'm going. So that's 100 cool things that I've fucking done, you know, like massive things and massive challenges that I've overcome. And then in those years as well, I can go and do all these other things. But yeah, I've extended the runway. So I've set a new target for 1,000 days now. But yeah, I feel like we'll make a decision there. Maybe I'll do 2,000, this and that. But there's a lot of people who have made this shift. And, you know, if you look at alcohol consumption globally, it's down like, I think it's 4.8% or something.
Brilliant.
Which is great. Like, that's great to see humans actually like doing better things with their time and life. So, yeah, I fucking love it. I think everyone should do it, you know. It's a tough thing to kick.
Yeah.
But I've just got that obsessive mindset, which is like, it's great because I'm just like, you know, the ego thing that I just touched on. When people tell me I can't do something, that is like the best thing you can fucking say to me.
Bro, yes.
Like there was a good friend of mine, you know, and I said, yeah, man, I'm going to do a whole year sober. And he goes, ha! He goes, whatever, bro. And I was like, fuck you, watch this. And I'd done it.
Yeah.
And I rubbed it in his face, you know, like, hey, that's very toxic, but, you know. But yeah, I mean, that pushes me, you know, to go and do the things. It's like Twin Tone went through the fundraising round, pitching to VCs, you know, and they're like, yeah, nah, it's not a great idea, this and that. And they're like, I don't think it will do this. I don't think. And I'm like, oh, you fucking watch this, bro. You know, I'm gonna rub it in your face and be like, cool, this is what fucking happened.
I love that, man. And there's something you mentioned ego before, and I don't think we're quite done on sobriety because we could go for an hour so much on sobriety. But this idea of an ego, it is important, and when it's integrated with the understanding that we're also a collective. The ego gets a lot of hate nowadays. It's like, oh, lose your ego. It's like, no, you are an individual, but you're part of a collective. But your genius comes from you as an individual. And that, your ego, all of this, you need to be you. Okay, if you spend all of your time on mushrooms, like lost in just like the cosmos, you're fucking useless.
Yeah.
Great, you might feel amazing and understand that there's a deep connection to the world around us, but we need your ego, we need you as an individual, you're both. And it's that idea that everything around us, we are an individual, separate, but we are also connected at the same time. I think that's, people I find often go one or the other. That's all bullshit, or we're all one man. It's like both. Like it's both.
It's your best friend and your worst enemy.
Best friend and your worst enemy. With sobriety, for guys or girls who they don't feel like they've got a huge sense of purpose driving them at the moment, they feel stuck. The Friday pints, the Saturday night out, even though perhaps they want to kick it, that's the thing that each week is kind of keeping them going at the moment. What's something that they can do to make that shift, to make that decision in a moment? How can they go about that to get out of it?
Yeah. I mean, fuck. We've been there. You know, when I always wanted to make this change and make this shift, I was always laughed at, you know, like, oh, whatever, really, you're just a party boy. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't. I remember I had a group of my, like, very close friends who I grew up with, and I love these people to death. And they came over to Bali, and we were sitting there, and they were all drinking, and it was fine. I just felt like I didn't have anything in common with them anymore. And it's a really sad and lonely feeling like, fuck, I've outgrown these people. And I still crave that connection with them.
Yeah.
However, it's slowly drifting apart. So for the people who are listening, you've really got to look at your friends and where you are in life, because you're a product of your own environment. Trust me, I grew up in a small town in New Zealand. Everyone was driving around in cars, getting drunk and just doing dumb shit. And it's like, I became part of that, you know, then started hanging out with drug addicts, became a drug addict and, you know, alcoholism, this and that. And then I was like, all right, cool. Well, I know what I'm capable of. Like as a kid, I was like, fuck, I know, like I'm going to make such a huge fucking impact in the world and, you know, just give all my love and my energy to everyone and be like, oh, this is James Rowdy. Then I was like, okay, cool. Where am I? And then comes back to the COVID thing, right? Here I am in this apartment, fucking climbing the fucking walls, started peeling back the layers of an onion and really going deep into who I am and what's my purpose. So I feel like all the people who are listening, guys or girls, if you're stuck in this bad routine and all that, you've got to really think about yourself. Like, what do I want to achieve out of life? Is it to have a family and do that? That's great. But what else is there? The people around you, you know, getting drunk with them every fucking weekend for the last 5-10 years, feel like there's deeper things there that people need to address, right? That's escapism, you know, and growing up in broken households and seeing how families and people interact with one another and, you know, seeing these, you know, a lot of drug and alcohol abuse and, you know, physical and mental abuse with people and individuals. I was like, wow. And then learning more about this, and just knowing that, you know, I could achieve more, like, it's, I've been there, and I feel like, look, at the end of the day, you're a product of your own environment. If you want to change, it's got to come from you, and it's got to come from making that change from the people and you're surrounded by.